I'm Vinita from BriPublish, and today we are in conversation with Sinchana, who is a young author and she's written a beautiful book called Journey Through Hearts. So, Sanjana, can you please introduce yourself, talk about your book?
Yes, ma'am. Hello, everyone. I'm Sinchana, the author of the book A Journey Through Hearts. Well, talking about my journey through poetry, it began as a escape from reality, where I transformed all my emotions and feelings into words. And over the years, writing has not just become a passion, but also I like to share my words to others, hoping they'll get some use from it. Maybe they might be traveling in the same path as me, and they might not be alone in this journey. So on behalf of everybody, I like to tell about my book, which I wrote recently. It is called A Journey Through Hearts. It is a collection of poems inspired by my own experience and feelings on about love. It has five stages of love. The first stage is about the euphoria of falling in love. Like you fall in love, and there is happiness all around, and the emotions that you go through. It's everything comes under the stage one, and under the stage two it is about the longing for the person, like how you try to understand them and the longing that you get. That is about the stage two. And finally the stage three is about letting go of the lost love, like because of the circumstances which aren't under our control. There might be situation where you might have to let go of the person that you love, and that is about the stage three. Stage the four is about decideful heartbreak. This is a stage where one person they might decide you, leading giving you lots of pain and the lessons of a lifetime. That is about stage four. And stage five is about like how you come out of the relationship, how you go through the relationship, and it's a journey of healing basically. So the book is all about the five stages of it's not only for the people who are in love, but also the people who are finding love difficult, and also people who are curious and what is love. All the answers they might find in this book. Also, this poem they might also recall their memories which they have shared with their loved ones. So this is all about the book. And this book is very special to me because some of the most significant emotional journey of mine is shared over here. uh, Writing this poem, it's like a strength for me. It has given me so much strength, and I hope I share this strength with all the people who might be traveling on the same path as me. So all I want to say is that this book is my way of saying that you're not alone, and love in all its form, it's very beautiful and it is worth celebrating.
Wonderful. That's a real, enlightening poetry, I guess, one would get to read. And so tell me, Sinchana, that, at yours, you're so young and you thought of writing poetry, whereas people generally end up writing a novel. So, like you said, this poetry is coming from the real life experiences, and that's why they have so much of, intensity in it. So, writing poetry is how different it is from writing stories, or is there any correlation? How it is different, and how did you get into poetry and not into some story writing?
Okay. Basically, I don't write story writing much. I write poetries a lot. Story writing is not completely different from poetry. Story, like you have a story in your mind, and you can narrate a story according to whatever you imagine, you think like. The story can like it can sometimes be real, but sometimes it is not. Everything is not real. It's fictional most of the times. But when it comes to poetry, it may not be real from your own experience, but you might be depicting the experiences of some other people who might be reading it, and they might relate to it, and they might get some knowledge from it. They might feel the same whatever you're writing about. So I began writing poem when I was 17 years old. It just began as a boring time, like I was bored during the COVID-19, and that time just it struck my head that why not I write a few lines just for my friends. So that's how it began, a journey from.
So, writing, like you said, you started in the around when you were 17. Is there a particular routine that you follow process that you follow to write when it comes to writing uh, poetry or probably books that you are doing. Do you have a routine?
Actually, no. This is like a passion to me. Like poetry writing doesn't either poetry writing or story writing. Anything about literary work doesn't require any proper routine for you to follow. Whenever you're free, like it's like a hobby for you. Like whenever you're free time during before you go to sleep, or right after you wake up, or when you're taking breaks, to relax your mind, you can start writing the poetry. That's how I began writing my poems too. So like yeah, that's the way.
So that means that it's one has to be in the creative bent of mind when
Yeah.
you're writing. Also, if you could put throw some light that how it can help people to heal, or is it meditative in nature? What do you feel? What are your experiences with writing?
Yeah, definitely I would say that it would help. Like it is equal to meditation. It's what I feel in my life, because whatever the process going which goes on in my head, emotions or feelings, I cannot tell it to everybody. Like I cannot tell it to share it to any person. So instead of that, I put forward in words. So words are like my comforting comfort actually. So instead of meditating, like how meditate helps people, writing helps me. That's the way I have found writing, which helps me. So like yeah, you can actually start writing from your heart whenever you feel like you have to share something this to some things to some person, but you can't do that actually, because of some reasons, like they might feel bad, or you might not you might not have that courage to tell them openly. So that way you can write through words, so that you can feel better whenever you read it in a later time. And later time, if you feel confident enough, you can share it to them. That's how.
Wonderful. Tell me, I mean, is when you were writing this book, Journey Through Hearts, uh, are you targeting, or are you, considering a particular age group uh, for as your readers?
No, ma'am. Actually, it's not for a particular age group people, because love, when it comes to love, it's very universal. It is very neutral. Everybody, once in a lifetime, they will be in love with somebody else. Either you might love your parents, you might love your friends, or somebody. So it is not portraying to a particular age group, but everybody who are in love and wants to experience the love, they can read these poems, and they can feel much better when they are reading it.
Very nice. Sinchana, what are your other hobbies, other than poetry? What are your other interests?
Well, I like to play badminton outside with my brother when I have some free time. Other than that, I love to also play some board games and all those things.
Okay. And do you feel that, because, there's so many books, so many poetry books also, and famous, people who have written poetry like Rumi and all. So, when you started to write poetry, did you get inspired from some author that gave you understanding that you can also, try this form of writing?
Yes, ma'am. And there is an author, a Diary of Romantica. Actually, she's from Spain. Her name is Celia. I used to follow her when I used to write poetry at the beginning time. She is one of my greatest inspiration, I would like to say, ma'am.
Okay. And do you have any message for your readers through your book or otherwise? Anything that you want to share?
Like yes, ma'am, this book has been really incredible for me, as I've heard from my friends and family that they really like this book. This book is not only based on love, it's about all the emotions that goes through around, which you cannot share with other people sometimes. So like yeah, that's how you get to know the idea of love and all the stages of love, because this book is not only for the people in love, even the people who are who are trying to love themselves, who are on the journey to love themselves, who are trying to be away from each other, and they're still coping up with that. So this book is for all the people who believe that love is true and love is universal and love is everywhere.
Tell me your experience with the BriPublish. How did you get to know about BriPublish, and how was your writing experience on BriPublish platform?
It is very convenient actually. I found this through my college actually. They sent me a message saying that whoever are interested to write a poetry book, like not just a poetry book, whoever are interested to write any book, they can just submit it through this. And I was very happy to know that there's a platform providing for writers to publish their books. And I just checked their platforms. There are many people who have submitted their writings, either stories or poetries, or even some people even submitted some quotes and mental tips and all those books. I was just seen them, and I'm very happy that this BriPublish has come forward to help the students to publish their books. It's like a dream come true for all of them.
Thank you for sharing such a good feedback. Uh, Shinchana, this has been a very insightful conversation that I had with you, and my perception of poetry and storytelling has also, increased with this conversation. Thank you, Sinchana, for today's meaningful, podcast. And I wish you all the luck. Good luck for your book. And thank you, viewers, for tuning in. And with this, we're going to wrap up today's podcast. Thank you.